Okay, so I'm going to, if I haven't gotten back to you in like a month, please forgive me. If I haven't, there's been a lot of crap going on, no, I mean, I'm not going to take 15 minutes to fill up the video. But then I'd have to make this private too. If I haven't gotten back to you in, 2 weeks to a few days, you know how crazy it's been, and, I will try to get back to you soon. Also, the month people. If I haven't gotten back to you in a day, it's because yesterday, I celebrated a birthday. Not going to say which one. Which most of the people I went downtown with were fine with not being like, it's his birthday and shit like that. So somebody was, but they kind of had a right to you know, or not a right to, the privilege to, I guess, pull that shit. I need to address this because many people have. Who the frick is doing that this time? Many people have. I've talked to them about this. I used to say, let's say you were talking to somebody blind from birth, and you said, describe the difference between neon green, dark purple, black, and white. Right? There's some people that don't get the idea, or maybe it's a failure on my part to communicate. You're speaking to, you drop two people who, somebody lived around blind people for all their life, right? They grew up in a blind home. There's never been a mention of color around them. Let's hypothetically say that that exists. Or even if they've gotten all, then they had color rammed down their throat all the time. It's still, you still couldn't describe that in any way that would make sense, right? Well, it's neon. Neon, it's like it glows. Well, what do you mean glows? Well, red is the mixture of, you know, well, no, it's not a mixture, but green is a mixture between kind of the yellow and the blue light. And color is actually not the color that we see, it's all the colors that we don't, so it can reflect that color. Black is the absence of color, and white is the presence of all the colors, but if you mix any substances of color together, if you mix all of them together, you will get black. But that's for a different reason, but in light, white is all the colors, and black is the absence of color. You could not communicate. There was nothing that you could communicate where the person would get a picture of that in their mind. Even more so, you couldn't get a pattern of consistency. No, nobody would be able to find a pattern in the way things are described, because you can't use visual things. And another thing, light is perception, or color is perception. Color doesn't exist. Here's another thing, but it exists. It's used in everyday thing. If you think color is universal, what about this? This is what I mean. Black, white, yellow, and I thought about this when I was probably 5th grade. I thought, man, that's weird. What if somebody, you know, because we were, I remember it was a mix-up in a name. It was something like chartreuse or something like that. One of the color paints or something, or whatever the hell it was. And I I don't know what I thought it was, but another person thought it was color, or color. Another person thought it was purple, and another person thought it was a form of red. I think I said green. Yeah, I did say green. Right now it escapes me what color chartreuse is. I thought, whoa, man, what if that is to them what that is, you know, like that's green, that's red to them. They you know, that whatever the freaking color was. I think it's a type of a yellow-green. I don't know. I'm not a designer. I'm actually interested now, so I'll go look this up. So if somebody, in their mind, green and red were, every time you saw light green, in fact, they saw light red. And anytime you saw dark green, they saw dark red. And anytime you saw green, and anything green, they saw red, right? But they called that color that you and everybody else calls green, red, and vice versa. Every time they saw red, that whenever anybody else said red, they saw green. This wouldn't affect them at all. Green would be hot. That's the color of things when they get hot, right? For them. And at green lights, you stop, and it's the lower one, and red light is the one on top, and there would be actually no connection. And you would see, even if you were somebody that saw color, you couldn't see any pattern forming to throw off what's being said, because they're describing it in the exact way. They're just perceiving it completely differently, right? So even if there's patterns, even if there's no pattern, even if it's 100% consistency, same language, there's nothing to show that there's something forming where it's not. There's no extra thing, you know. There's no, this is different when the people who actually see green instead of red say this. No, it doesn't happen. Philosophy likes to call this Qualia. But I think that even that definition fails. I know I've heard people, Daniel Dennett in one of his things, actually I came across when I was reading all the Dawkins and Hitchens and Harris books and all that crap. He tries to argue against qualia, which I think is funny within itself, of arguing against qualia, if it exists or not. And I think he finally goes into something and concedes, well, yeah, just for people it exists or something like that. Because he winds up bringing up, like, if there's an alien race, they could be able to communicate this and that. Whatever, yeah, fine, but we're not aliens. So, for us it exists. That's like when scientists say, well, there's no color. Actually, color doesn't exist. Okay. But it does for us, doesn't it? It's actually essential. We couldn't do without it in the modern civilization. When I mean color doesn't exist, it exists to us, but the things that we see that are... no. Another thing, a third thing, right, is... I was in my second semester of college, right? What was it first? No, second semester of college. It's one of the philosophy book that I wound up using for the next few semesters up. The first one's an intro thing, and then no, it was third philosophy class I took at the college level. Just say that. Went over something that was said in the first one, and he said, because there were people that kind of didn't get it. He said, that clock on the wall, would an Aboriginal Australian from 4,000 years ago see that clock? And I said, yes. He said, no, they wouldn't. And I said, yeah, they would, you know. Because, I mean, I still didn't get it. It was, no, that clock on the wall. Would they see that? The wall with that clock. The numbers, would they see the same thing you're seeing? I said, yeah. He goes, no. Okay. And then he had to go over the stuff, and he was kind of like, this person's stupid. And yeah, I didn't get it. I mean, I understand now. Yeah, no, they wouldn't. Somebody from, again, Aboriginal Australian from 4,000 years ago walks into this room, they would not see what I see. I think there's many people who I talk to, both, or all three, atheist, theist, and Eastern Orthodox. Because I can't group Orthodoxy with theism. Not anymore. Well, not that anything has changed, it's just that all the philosophical arguments for theism don't apply. Neither does anything practical or in practice, so it doesn't. I'm not grouping it as atheism. I'm not. No, that's not big. But the atheism, theism, and Eastern Orthodox. Among Eastern Orthodox, you could say Taoism and maybe some forms of Buddhism. But and maybe some different philosophies, probably. Maybe philosophical Satanism and possibly Nietzsche's ideas. But I'll debate people who are both theists and atheists, or not debate, but talk to them about this stuff, and they don't. It doesn't seem like they have any. They've never taken a philosophy class, and I don't know who it was, but I asked them about objectivism, and I was talking to them for a while, and I said, well, when did you read The Virtue of Selfishness? And they hadn't. Or they didn't know that objectivism was a very certain type of philosophy. They were just using it in their term of what it meant. And I think there was a couple of people. And then, I mean, even with Devin Pope, with Gnosticism, he just says, well, I think Gnosticism is any theist. Because agnosticism means you're not theistic, so Gnosticism must mean theistic, and it's like, no, now you're using the word independent of everybody else, how they use the word. The accepted term, like I said, well, understand means to stand under something, like to go underneath a bridge. Because stand and under and put them together. And I'm going to make a part 2 of this and go into now the problem with language, but I'll just cut it off here so we have 2 evenly divided things, but in fact it's the same video, same topic.